Hey friends, hey, this is Lisa Woolfolk from the award-winning Stitch Please podcast, and I need you to help me get my Stitch together. We're celebrating 5 years of the podcast and a new chapter of Black Women Stitch. This summer, we're launching Stitch Betta Have My Money to amplify abundance as we raise $50,000. After surviving a white supremacist terror attack in 2017 and being rejected by white quilters afterward, I founded Black Women Stitch to love Black sewists out loud. And we've reached listeners in 83% of the world. Volunteers have saved us $600,000 in essential services, and Patreon peeps help us keep the lights on. Black Women Stitch and the Stitch Please podcast are relocating to Massachusetts for the 2024 academic year. $50,000 will stabilize operations and payroll for our 2 producers, content creator and project manager. With your help, we can continue to help you get your Stitch together. Donate today at stitchbettahavemymoney.org. Thank you.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Q Points Podcast. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is Jay Ray, sometimes known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay III. What's happening, good people?
That's right. Q Points Podcast is the podcast dropping the needle on Black music history. Jay Ray, we're about to do another one. We're about to do our big one, as the kids say. But first of all, let's check in. How you feeling?
I am feeling really, really good. So I did the same thing, by the way, Sir Daniel, that I did last week. I done cut my air off. So, you know, but I put it on real high earlier. So it's still a little chill in the room. I'm hoping that it holds on, but I am glorious. How are you?
You know what? I'm fantastic. My ear is on. It's gonna stay on. It's good and frosty. And yeah, today was a great day. Today was just a day of, running a couple errands, but I was most excited about this moment right here, the recording of this particular episode, because J Ray, like we were just saying off the air, the subject of this episode has pretty much been omnipresent in our lives. Like, for all of you Gen Xers out there, this person has been just a mainstay in our lives, and she's not going anywhere.
Nope. This is one of those figures that literally changed the game. You know, oftentimes when we're on Q Points, because of the subjects that we talk about those folks that are like game changers. This is like way at the top of like the game changer thing. But as we do every week, you all, if you can hear our voices, if you could see our faces, thank you so much. That is the most important thing that you can do. Listening to the show, watching the show, sharing the show with your friends, family, colleagues. If you love Q Points, chances are they will love Q Points. That really does help to organically spread the word about what we're doing over here. You can visit our website at qpoints.com, which has had a little bit of a refresh. We got some new goodies over there that you can check out over on our website at qpoints.com. You can also check out our blog at magazine.qpoints.com and join our newsletter. And if you want to do us a solid, you can shop our store. You can get a Stop Tweeting, Start Rapping shirt, as well as other merch. Dang, I had a mug right here earlier and it's down. Hey, voila. You can get a mug. There we go. Mugs, bags, the whole 9 yards. You can get that over at the store, store.qpoints.com. It'll keep the lights on over here in Q Points land. We'd really, really appreciate it.
That's right. All right, so J Ray, let's do this, man. So I will say, J Ray, you and I do a really good job about making this show unmistakably Black.
Yes.
We are, like we say, we are in the business of dropping the needle on Black music history.
It's what we do.
It's what we do. And there have only been a couple of people. No, she's probably the second person, non-black
Yep. No.
person that we've centered on the episode of Q Points. And I think by the end of this episode, you'll understand why. And it's not just about blowing her up and gassing Madonna up, because at the time of this recording, we are a few hours away from her 66th birthday.
Jeez,
Madonna will be
Lord.
66 years old. So we are talking about Madonna because she is, just like we said, has just been a part of our lives for so long that we just can't not talk about her. And there's just some totem poles in her career that we have to discuss on Q Points podcast.
Yeah. So Madonna is one of those artists. I think what makes this conversation also really poignant is since the beginning of Madonna's career, she has always behind the scenes aligned herself with Black folks somewhere. Either they are producing, they are writing alongside her, because we be forgetting that Madonna be writing them songs. Madonna's pen game is crazy. They're either producing, writing alongside her, singing with her, dancing with her. So yes, this is still Black music. We are still talking about Black music history when we are talking about Madonna, because Madonna has been part of our lives as little Black children. So me and Sir Daniel remember when Madonna hit the scene, and how crazy that was. So we'll get into all of that. But she deserves a show. I mean, she is that important.
That's right. And we are going to be analytical. We are going to have some critiques and offer some POVs on some things for sure. But I mean, if we look at her background, like she was born into an alignment of Blackness, because she was born in Michigan, which is Detroit adjacent, if you will. What part of Michigan is she from? Is it Lansing?
I think she's a Canton girl. Let me look up where Madonna from. Hold on. It's right here in front of me. I got my big Madonna cheat sheet right here. Madonna is from, she's from Bay City, Michigan. Yeah.
So she's from Bay City, Michigan. But of course, Detroit is where it's at. Detroit is probably one of the blackest cities, that you could think of at the time. She was born, right across the river or wherever she was from. There's a whole city, of Blackness.
Yes.
You got Motown going on. You got major civil rights movements happening in that city. So there had to, some of that is bound to rub off on you through osmosis, and the television. Television was really big right when she was coming along.
Yeah.
So I think that had to have colored her imagination and her drive. She's a trained dancer.
Yep.
Dancer. And that's what took her on her journey, which started in the city of New York, the big city of New York, back in the late 70s, actually, early 80s. Yeah.
Yeah. So Madonna really does, in so many ways, Madonna, when you look at her even visually, kind of encapsulates what I thought New York was in like the late 70s and the early 80s, because she just had that look. Like, she was absolutely a New York girl. And the level of cool and artsy that you had to be on, that she was kind of carrying. So I would have never guessed. I didn't learn Madonna was from Michigan until later. I would have never guessed that she was from Michigan, because she just seemed so connected to New York. And it's interesting. So over on Instagram, shout out to Michelle. Michelle, Real Chicks Rock, said, hey, when she first came on the scene, we thought she was Hispanic, right? Because of how she carried herself, who she rolled with, the look, all of that. So she definitely slid right into New York.
She absolutely did. And, she became So New York at that time was kind of split up into two scenes. Of course, you had the punk rock scene,
Mm-hmm.
which she was giving aesthetically, she was giving that. But then you also had, like J Ray said, the artsy downtown scene. Of course, it's widely publicized that she was canoodling back in the days
She
with
could noodle.
Jean. She canoodled a lot with Basquiat. She didn't mind pushing color lines with her relationships because she was such a rebel. And what what you're going to see and what I noticed is that she just was able to um con- conform herself or just make her shape shift to whatever was going
Mm.
on at the time and whoever she was around. And like you said, it's been like people always said, when you saw her you couldn't take your eyes off of her. So you've got someone who is able to um be a part of any scene and fit in, and then she's got that it factor
Yeah.
where people can't take their eyes off of her. So it was, she was bound to become a star at some point. She, if I'm not mistaken, she auditioned for Fame.
Mm. I did
she
hear that. Mm-hmm.
she auditioned for Fame, which was a huge get for an up and coming dancer artist in the early 80s. And Fame, her life was about fame, about the
Yeah.
come up, about reaching for the stars and grabbing for your dreams and all of that. That was such a Madonna trope,
Yeah.
but she did not make that cut. But that didn't stop her from becoming a part of the dance scene and going to the danceteria, which was a huge, she became a part of club culture
Mm-hmm.
and was always in the dance clubs, honing her skills and just being one of the cool kids and being a trendsetter.
You know, thinking back to the journey,
Hmm.
right? There is a legendary tenacity and persistence that Madonna had on her journey to the come up.
Yes.
So, being a star at that level is a thing that people pursue and want. And it is very clear that Madonna wanted that, and she was going to stop at no end to get it. But, and I know we're going to talk a bit about Truth or Dare later,
Hmm.
but I do want to bring up something that stuck out to me as I was getting ready for this show. Madonna was talking to her dad on the phone and was like, "Hey, who coming to the show?" Like da 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 da. Oh, and by the way, it's racy. Just to let y'all know, so you might not want to come both nights. You might just want to come one night. But
Right.
anyway, she said. So the dad says, "Well, hey, can you just tone it down?" She was like, "Tone it down for you?" She was like, "I'm not going to do that because that would compromise my artistic integrity." And that stuck out to me because it was like, okay, not only was this woman committed to being a star, she was also not going to be told when to stop. And
Right.
we see that throughout her entire career.
The entire career, when it wasn't cool for certain people, if you looked like Madonna, you weren't supposed to hang out with the
Mm-hmm.
gay kids in the ballroom scene. And that's what she did at one point, and that's how we got to Madonna and Vogue becoming such an anthem, and her latching on to dancers from the ballroom scene. Of course, there's lots of conversation around, you know, did Madonna make ballroom, or did Madonna blow up ballroom, or did ballroom blow up Madonna? There's always that
Mm-hmm.
conversation of which came first, the chicken or the egg. And I don't know, maybe both things are true, but she, again, in her aligning herself with Blackness,
Mm-hmm.
she found this underground scene. She loved the underground scene
She loved an
regardless.
underground scene.
And here is this black and Hispanic gay ballroom scene
Mm-hmm.
in Harlem, all throughout New York, and she is soaking it up and eating it up, and she taps into it, of course, in the early 90s, taps into that scene for Vogue, which of course was a huge and major hit for her, iconic and still a part of her repertoire to this day.
Yeah.
But it couldn't get that far without the authenticity of the people in the scene being with her and surrounding her.
Yeah.
And as we see, Madonna is a master of bringing those people around her and surrounding herself, latching onto people,
Yeah.
that will give her authenticity as well as lend to her talent.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you talk about that, because I do think especially as we look back, and Michelle mentioned this over in Instagram, Jelly Bean Benitez, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Madonna's first album, Jelly Bean, is all over it. Oh, by the way, I had right here. This is Jelly Bean's debut album. What up, Ski? This came out in 84, so this is celebrating 40 years this year. This record includes the Madonna written Sidewalk Talk, which is right there. Boom. But one note, me and Sir Daniel saw this. When they were selling this album, they were saying featuring the Mexican. They weren't even like plugging the Madonna song, which is really interesting. Because Madonna was still a new star then. Like, her debut album had just come out. Yes, it had a bunch of hits, but it took time back then for stuff to really cook. So the big thing that they were talking about on this was the Mexican. But meanwhile, Sidewalk Talk, written by Madonna's on this joint. So you have the Jelly Bean thing, and so you have freestyle and all of that stuff happening. Then right after that, Madonna is, like you said, a master with how to surround herself, right? She needs to go to the next level. Who does she call? She calls up Nile Rodgers. Like, Nile, I need a hit. I need some records, right? Nile Rodgers comes in and we get the Like a Virgin album, which changed the world.
Yes. Yep.
A master of gathering folks. She needed Jelly Bean to make that first record pop, to make that Madonna album pop, to come out the gate. Nile coming out the gate. She just has a history of doing that. And all of a sudden, the people that she surrounds herself with become like famous too.
Mm-hmm.
It's in an interesting way. She was collecting people.
She was a collector. Okay, so this is my analogy for Madonna. Madonna is the white girl that your uncle brings by to the cookout that he dates. The white, that one white girl that he dates, and he brings her by, and she's down by law. She's cool. Every now and then, you got to give her the side eye, and you got to remind her, hey, look, we don't do all of that around here.
We don't do all of that, Sharon. You doing too much.
You're doing too much. But, she wants to come to the cookouts. She does a mean electric slide. She's able to do that. So and she washes her hands. You give her some passes every now and then. And then we're not even going to talk about the biracial children that she had for your uncle. So she brings them around. But, Madonna is that person. That's my analogy of Madonna when it comes to the Black community. She's welcomed, but every now and then she does some weird stuff, and you're like, "What are you doing?" But she's still kind of cool. So you're like, "Okay, Sharon, chill out and just
eat this potato salad, Sharon, and be quiet."
Right, pass the potato salad. You didn't make it, thank God, but you're welcome to come in. And I'm not trying to just reduce her to just that. But sometimes that's how I think about her and her relationship to the Black community, because, like I said, she was always there. Mm-hmm. Madonna was always there, and we kind of was like, even when she went away and she got that fake British accent, and we're like, well, girl, you thought you was from the hood. But no, that's the relationship that we've had with her.
Right.
And you mentioned just her unmatched audacity. Madonna learned what she did was she learned early that star power increases other star power.
Yes.
And so Madonna was completely unafraid to exploit, and that's the only word we can use, to exploit her life or anyone that is intimately involved with her at the time.
For
Because
better or for worse.
For better or for worse. Let's take the Truth or Dare documentary. First of all, groundbreaking, because that was like the beginning of reality television.
Oh yeah.
And we got to see her, we got to see behind the scenes. But there were people there going through things. There, do you recall, J. Ray? She had like this chubby white girl that was there. I guess she was an assistant or something.
She was an assistant and she had been assaulted. It was a lot.
J. Ray, she got assaulted on tour and they kind of glazed over it.
Baby, they put her on the camera.
They put her on the cameras like, yeah, they found her with her panties around her ankles and a little bit
of
blood.
It was a mess.
Wait a minute.
Baby, that would not fly in 2024. You'd be like...
Right. But Madonna's like, you know what? We're keeping that in the film. We're keeping that.
Keep that.
That's good. We're going to keep that.
My God.
But you know, the dancers, J. Ray, the dancers, we talked about, so the gentlemen that were a part of and made the Vogue video, were actually gentlemen that she met in the clubs.
Yep.
And they were literally part of houses in the ballroom scene. And those guys did not know what they were signing up for. And in 2016, they did a documentary called Strike a Pose, where they were able to share their stories about how, for better or for worse, Madonna came along and changed their lives. Yeah. Those guys just had no idea what being a part of her tour and that documentary was going to do to them in their lives.
Yeah, so I don't know. So we're talking about the late 80s, right? Early 90s. Truth or Dare comes out in 91. I guess Blonde Ambition was 1990.
Yeah, that was
I don't know that we had a concept of what a true behind the scenes look at a celebrity was. In particular, this diverse group of people. You got Black women, you have queer folks, right? Who are not trying to shrink and they're not trying to play the back. They're just like being themselves and being encouraged to be themselves fully. That was different in 1991, right? You can do that. They do that all day on YouTube now. Right. In 1991, that wasn't a thing. So I can understand how, one, you want to be a star too. So the cameras are on. You're excited, right? Your boss is there. She's Madonna. You're excited to be on tour. You want to be part of it, the experience. But these men ended up, three of them ended up suing Madonna. So Oliver, Kevin, and Gabriel, rest in peace to Gabriel, ended up suing Madonna in 1992. She ended up settling the lawsuit in 1994, but these men said that they were experiencing emotional distress. It was an invasion of privacy lawsuit. So here's all the things: invasion of privacy, fraud and deceit, intentional misrepresentation, suppression of fact, and intentional infliction of emotional distress for exposing their private lives in 1991. That's a lot, right? And so I can absolutely see how they would have felt like, I don't know, or not knowing what to do. Excited in the moment, and then afterwards, like, different. Sir Daniel, we know in 2024, all the contracts are very clear. You can't see the final edit. We're recording all of this. You're signing up to be part of everything. If you don't want to be part of it, that's fine. You don't have to take this gig, right? It's a different world now.
Completely. Nowadays, these kids are like, "Oh, sign me up for. I'm gonna be a baddie. Shot o'clock. Sign me up. Oh, I'm allowed to fight. Oh, sign me up for all of that." These
Right,
kids
right.
nowadays are built completely different. They would have signed up for all of the shenanigans, to sign up for the fame or the what looks like
What
fame,
looks like
and
fame.
what could have been, and what they, I guess, perceived at the time was going to be a life-changing money moment, possibly. And let's talk about Oliver. Oliver, his story was so, I think that was his name.
Yeah, the straight
The
brother.
blonde, the
Yep.
straight brother.
Yeah, he had the blonde hair. Yep.
I mean, his story was so exploited
Yep.
to the point, because he was saying, he is straight.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was the only straight guy in the cast of dancers, and he fought with that tooth and nail. It became a storyline.
Yep.
If that was a reality show, that would have been his storyline, and it would have been all on Twitter the whole time, talking about people who would have been discussing his sexuality. And that, again, like we said, Madonna ate that shit up. That's something, because it just propelled her further and further into the spotlight. And J-Ray, I think one of the most poignant parts of that documentary is when one of her ne'er-do-wells at the time, God, his name just slipped
Warren
away.
Beatty.
Warren Beatty was sitting there like he
does not want to be on camera. He's like, girl.
He's like, I don't want to do this, because he's a seasoned actor, so he knows about all the contracts, and how his management is probably going to be pissed at him for being in this and signing his rights away. And so he's like, why do you want to do this? This is insane. It was unheard of. To her credit, to her being a visionary, and just like I said at the top, her being just audacious, having the audacity to do this, is going to propel her to the heights of stardom. But like you said, J-Ray, she had no qualms. Her drive was unlike, she has a Hemi engine for a drive. Like Madonna was, I'm going to be famous.
Not a Dodge Hemi engine as the Madonna.
Remember when she was on American Bandstand and she told Dick Clark, she said, I want to rule the world.
She literally said that. And that's, wow. And literally did for a period of time. So let's put this in perspective, y'all. When we're talking like big, huge superstars of the 1980s that are her contemporaries, she's the newest of the crop, right? So you're talking Prince, you're talking Michael, you're talking Tina Turner, and Madonna's in there. Like, she just got here. All of these other kids been doing it. You know what I'm saying? They have done all the things they have done. Madonna just got here. That drive is crazy, but also I do think it speaks to that undeniable talent, that thing. She recognized that she had the thing, she exploited the thing, and here we are talking about Madonna in 2024. Deservedly so.
Yes.
And I think the other thing about Madonna, so we talked about her collecting people. So we just talked about Warren Beatty. But what was also interesting is in Truth or Dare, we had the whole storyline of Sandra Bernhard showing up. And all of a sudden, she's her best friend. And now Sandra Bernhard is a topic.
Yep. Madonna, she just had a talent for collecting people, like we said. She collected, she was hanging hard with Debbie Mazar. If you're not familiar, Deb Mazar is like a true New York socialite, actress,
Chef.
girl. Chef. She was in a lot of Spike Lee's movies. Just like a real New York centerpiece in the early 80s and 90s. So she's hanging with her. And as Madonna's climbing, I'm gonna hang with Sandra Bernhard. She's a comedian. She's an it girl. The two of us are just big mouth broads, and we're gonna be everywhere, just causing a scandal. They're popping up on Arsenio Hall show, talking mess with Arsenio Hall. And then she's like, Rosie O'Donnell,
Right.
I know you're gay, but I'm not going to spill your tea in front of everybody, but you're going to hang with us. And we're all going to run around and just cause a scandal and just be the big mouth broads that are everywhere and are funny. And we're coming to your party and we're going to cause a scandal. And then who else did she add to that? I think Rosie O'Donnell, I think was about there because that's when she started in she was in the movie with the baseball.
There's no crying in baseball. Leave their own. There's no crying in
baseball. So exactly. So she figured out early, star power and star power, that's going to ignite something. We're going to amplify each other just by being around and just causing a scandal. But J-Ray, we've uncovered that recently Sandra Bernhard was like, oh yeah, that ain't all what it seemed to be, right?
Right.
She realized that Madonna was a collector.
Yeah. So I mean, I think and it became clear over time because people would fall off, right? People would just kind of fall away. Like they would be there for a minute and then they would just kind of fall away. And you're like, oh, she's like a collector of people. Okay. So this is the thing to do at the time. And I'm sure Madonna is one of those creatives that like latches onto folks that are filling her up with the thing that she needs at the time. I want to highlight in particular in the picture that we're looking at right now. So I'm gonna start from the right and I'm gonna come backwards. So you have Madonna on the far right, you have Sandra Bernhard in the middle, and on the left, you have Keith Haring. Who is such an important artist, but I will say this. No matter the season, no matter the reason, Madonna will call Keith's name. She did it all throughout Truth or Dare. She did it throughout the celebration tour that just ended. She has always celebrated her friend Keith. And so it's great being able to see Keith kind of in this picture as well, because he is one of those friends that was like beyond a collector. Like that was like her boy from back in the day in New York. So yeah.
And I think it bears to say that we should say that yes, and Keith is a representative of Madonna's allegiance to the gay community, because I think she realized very early that the gay community was, her staunchest supporters. She realized that very early, and so she would collect Hollywood friends, but she was very loyal to her supporters for sure. Yeah. But you know what else she was a collector of, J. Ray?
What?
She was a collector of cultures.
Baby, those eras, baby, there are so many Madonna eras.
All right, so J. Ray, what's your favorite Madonna era or cultural appropriation avatar?
So we talked about it at the top. My favorite era is kind of okay. So it was her Chola Mommy era, but that was also kind of like her punk adjacent era, which is the very first Madonna era.
Yeah.
First Madonna era goes up for me. She had the big bangle bracelets all up, the spiky hair with the black mesh and the like buckles, and she's doing a lot of this. Riding, I live for that girl. That's my girl. The girl that wrote Sidewalk Talk is my girl.
So first of all, there's so many cultural personas to choose from.
There are many.
There's like Harajuku Madonna. There's Space
Cowgirl Madonna.
Cowgirl Madonna. There's Kabbalah Madonna. Yes. There's just so many of them, and it's like what to choose. But I squarely, and we're going to talk about Madonna and the influence of Black music in her career, but I squarely appreciate pop Madonna. Like I live for like you said, that era that she came along. I lived for when she moved into the neon colors and the see-through mesh and the big bows.
Yes.
You literally, every girl in New York at one point could literally dress like Madonna for under $10 if they went to any of those corner stores, because you can get a glove and cut the fingers off. You can buy a bunch of those day glow bangles are like 10 for $1 or whatever, and you can have them coming all the way up to your elbows. The different colored socks, the layers of peplum, and put on some dancer sneakers underneath them, and you could look and get a leather coat from the vintage store, and you could be Madonna. There were like million Madonnas on the street. I remember seeing those ABC reports about Madonna taking over the world, and all of those she had like all the clones. That's why when we see the Swifties, we kind of chuckle, because it's literally history repeating itself.
Yes.
You see the Swifties wearing their cowboy boots and whatnot, trying to be Taylor Swift. We lived through that. We saw all the white girls trying to be Madonna, and the big bow, the sideways bow.
That bow was gigantic. Okay, just running around here. Yeah, Madonna and the cultures. We'll get to Madonna's black era, because it is a very particular and an era I enjoyed. I absolutely enjoyed Madonna's black era. But before we go there, right? So Madonna, to your point, recognized the importance of exploiting her life, thoughts, feelings, and all of that, because it ultimately, all of this stuff led to record sales. And Madonna, there was a quote in one of the articles from when the dancers sued her, and she said, everybody else does, like, it's like whatever to her, everyone sues her, and for her that controversy was okay for her. You know what I mean? It all mattered. So she is a woman who was not afraid of controversy. So so Sir Daniel, here's the thing. When I'm side-eyeing these new school kids,
which we do quite a bit,
it's not because I'm just like, girl, I lived through the Madonna era with this is nothing. This is nothing. Okay. We've seen it all.
Absolutely. And we cannot talk about Madonna without talking about her biggest co-conspirator at the time. And that was MTV.
Oh, yeah.
MTV and Madonna were a match made in heaven. Like, she lived to be in front of the camera, and they needed content. Because they were the biggest content creator at the time. They needed content. And we ate it up. Little do we were eating at such an early age.
Right.
And so she, just the fact that that Madonna was MTV's biggest star at the time. Just think about how her singing Like a Virgin, first of all, when she was singing about
Awards.
On MTV Awards, wearing a wedding dress and singing about being anything but virginal and writhing around. Like Jerry said, her favorite thing to do was to writhing around on the floor, rolling around in that good Sunday white wedding dress, and singing Like a Virgin, shot their numbers through the roof.
Wow, that was such a moment in time. Today, by today's standards, tame. In 1984, crazy. So we're also, of course, celebrating the 40th anniversary of the MTV Awards. But seeing her roll around, I think that was 84, maybe that was 85, but whatever. Seeing her do that on that stage was a moment in time. And you're absolutely right. My favorite Madonna MTV moment, though, is
I know what you're gonna say.
This is like Kabbalah era Madonna, because she's the pulled back. This is like, oh no, No. This is like 94. So this is like 90.
Versace Madonna.
This is yes. So she's coming out of Black era Madonna. So this is around that time. Mm-hmm. And this thing gets Chuck. She's doing an interview with, I think, not Kurt Loder. Who was the other?
Tabitha. It was
Tabitha Soren. Mm-hmm. And this compact comes flying up, and she's like, Don't invite her up here. And of course, Courtney Love peaks.
Tabitha was like, you want to come up? Even though Madonna's like, oh, don't. Courtney just wants attention. Tabitha's like, oh no, you want to come up? Come up.
Baby, Courtney Love popped her behind up there on that stage. And it was a moment in time. I will never forget the look on Madonna's face. Madonna was unhappy.
Yeah, she for whatever reason, Courtney Love, who of course is a rock star in her own right, mm-hmm. the front woman of Hole, but was also married to Kurt Cobain at the time. For whatever reason, just didn't see it from Madonna and vice versa. And so that was definitely a fun moment. But yeah, when you think about it, MTV and Madonna have had a long-standing relationship, which helped Madonna in courting other corporations and mm-hmm. courting sponsors. And we cannot talk about, remember that moment in time when Madonna and Pepsi were in bed together for this huge release of the what was that? The Express Yourself album.
That was the
90, 89. No, that was 89. And it was Express Yourself, that era. And of course, the song at the time was Like a Prayer.
Yeah, so I think that was the Like a Prayer album. So it was right after like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Express Yourself was on that record.
Yes.
So So this was a big deal because Madonna had gotten a Pepsi deal. And baby, you was somebody if you got a Pepsi deal. Because remember, Michael Jackson had a Pepsi deal.
Exactly.
And Madonna got her a Pepsi deal. And it's like, okay. And back then, kids, I remember this because we all did it. Your big stars, these kids ain't ready. The big stars premiered their music videos on network television.
That's right.
It wasn't going, it would premiere on an MTV too, but it was going to be on like ABC and stuff. So we got the word. You remember, Sir Daniel, Madonna is going to debut her new video on TV. Like a Prayer is sponsored by Pepsi. Moment. We're so excited. We are going to watch the video. And we did watch the video.
We did. So here's another thing. So what they did was they had the music video, the long form of Like a Prayer, but then there was also a commercial cut for Pepsi.
Uh-huh.
And so
Madonna with her Pepsi and her like little blonde streak.
Uh-huh. She had the brunette hair going. She had a whole new look. She was brunette this time with a streak, with blonde hair. And but the big deal was, I guess the execs at Pep didn't see the final cut because Madonna in all her Catholic glory decided, you know what? I've been a Catholic girl all my life. Let's just go ahead and bring Catholicism into this. And, she's clutching rosaries throughout the video.
Burning crosses.
There's crosses. And the piece de resistance.
Give it to him.
She had a black Jesus that she kissed in the mouth.
A fine black Jesus that she kissed in the mouth.
Now, the kids, y'all might know this Jesus as Leon, right, who is most famously known for his role in the Five Heartbeats and delivering the line, "Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis."
That was that was in the Temptations, because he was in the same thing. People get the movies confused. That was from the Temptations. Yes, he was in both. Okay.
He was in both.
He was in both.
You're absolutely right. So he is famous for that, and for all your reality TV shows. He was also together with Cynthia Bailey from The Real Housewives at one point.
Really? I did not know that.
Of her daughter. Yes. They were. He's been on Housewives of Atlanta a couple times, making appearances. But yes, so Leon, there's a portrayal of this black man being put in jail and beat up by the police. It's all the, the Madonna being controversial, challenging racism, sexuality, and Catholicism, and wrapping it all into a pleasant little bow and handing it off to Pepsi. And Pepsi's like, hey, we're in the business of selling soda. We don't know nothing about this cross burning or nothing like that, man. And you got the Catholic Church breathing down our back. Oh no, we didn't sign up for this.
That deal went south so fast. So it happens. The deal's done the next day. Like, it's a wrap. You can still see the commercial, of course, on like YouTube's. Go watch it. It's a great commercial. And if you haven't seen Like a Prayer, go ahead and watch it. But controversy, it's a thing, and she did not stop.
What's the word, everybody? This your man, Mr. Al Peter, Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood, and the MPN Network. And I'm here today to tell you about what the MPN Network consists of. The MPN Network is an entertainment as well as a developing media company based in Jacksonville, Florida. Our goal is to highlight various creatives that exist in spaces of music, visual arts, podcasting, and more. Within the network, we have multiple brands that will parallel with creatives, events, and other brands. The Neighborhood Podcast Network is a collective of independent podcast shows that has various topics ranging from the latest culture news, mental health, sports, and leisure conversations. We also have the Groove Suite brand that explores the realm of soul, hip-hop, R&B, funk, and more. The Groove Suite. Our health and beauty section gives a view on how to keep yourself in shape, in style, and in tune with your body and your mental. Last, we have the Fly Socks and Tees, an annual summer event that brings creatives together to celebrate the past years and victories that were received. So swing by our website, mpn-llc.com, and subscribe so you can stay up on what's happening with the neighbors and the groovers. Also follow us on our Facebook page as well as Instagram and Twitter, MPN Management. Building but becoming to the top.
Madonna had always been sexual. That was like not a surprise. Justify My Love was different in so many ways. And it was also kind of the real beginning of her like hip hop, like really that infusion of hip hop into her work. But she was about to do a thing. Justify My Love did a thing. I didn't even see Justify My Love until I don't know. I think I saw it at like a friend's sleepover because the friend's dad had the tape.
Yes.
That's the only way you could see Justify My Love was on VHS tape.
I did the same thing. I went to a friend's house and they had the tape. So Madonna eats controversy for breakfast. And she knows that controversy equals sales. And so she came out the bat. She came out swinging with this one because she was like, I'm going to delve into, somebody probably took her to, in her tours of Europe, somebody probably took her to the red light district and took her to the S&M district and to all those shows.
She was like, I'm doing this.
She's like, oh, I'm getting me a leather harness and I'm turning it out when I get back to the States. And so she's delving into S&M, dominatrix, and having those types of scenes interwoven into the video. And the song, nobody's even really talking about the song. They're talking about the visuals.
Yeah,
everybody loves to call them today, the visuals of this particular song, because it characterizes her as this wanton woman sneaking around a hotel to her lover, and she's like, what are you gonna do? But listen, that song is so controversial, but the lyrics are very sparse.
Oh yeah. It's really all about the bed that's created with the keyboard and that beat
and the break beat beat, which of course was
Public Enemy.
Public Enemy. I was gonna say Lent, but it wasn't necessarily Lent, which ended up in another lawsuit.
Right. So
Public Enemy had to come get their coins from Madonna.
Yeah, so there's a lot with this song. So interesting factoid, by the way. We didn't know this at the time because shout out to Maurice, who's over in Instagram. Lenny Kravitz did produce the song. The lyrics, though, were written by Ingrid Chavez. So the story goes, I think Ingrid had written the lyrics either to Lenny or to Prince at the time. They might have been to Lenny. Anyway, Lenny was like, I'm playing around in this Madonna bag right now, so I'm going to go on over here and take this song over there, and that's how we get Justify My Love. Ingrid Chavez didn't even know, apparently, that it had happened until Prince was like, I think I hear your lyrics on the radio.
Like, girl, did you
like Prince knew that it was an Ingrid Chavez thing because he knew how Ingrid wrote. Was like, I think I'm hearing you on the situation, right? So it was a lot going on with Justify My Love. So you got the Public Enemy thing. So the Bomb Squad. So you have Public Enemy, right? Who is also the blackest group in hip hop at the time. Okay. Sampling was different then, right? It was a different time because people was just kind of taking whatever they wanted to use and then just kind of using it. We hadn't gotten to an all samples cleared Biz Markie level of stuff yet.
Right.
So even though the break beat is also a sample, the specific way Madonna used it is the Public Enemy way. So the Bomb Squad is like, and Chuck D is like, hold up.
That's ours.
That's us right there. And we're in this Madonna. What is happening? I don't know
What
if we
is
signing
happening
up for all of that. So Justify My Love was controversial on so many fronts. You have a writer who is like, I didn't even know that song was happening the way it was happening. And here it is. You have a production team who's like, what the heck is going on? You have this hyper-sexual video that no one can show on TV.
Yep.
And all of that led to a booming industry where now people figured out that I can put my music videos on VHS and sell them to the public and make money that way.
Cut out the middleman. That's exactly what she found. She figured out was I can cut out the middleman. Oh, you're going to ban me? You're not even going to play me late night on MTV? And at this time, she's like, oh, MTV? I thought we were cool. But even MTV had their standards, their FTC standards that they had to stand by. And
Right.
was like, we can't do that. We love the video, but we can't show it.
Right.
But a lot of people are asking who Ingrid Chavez is.
Yeah.
So Ingrid Chavez was a one-time Prince girlfriend.
Yep.
And for context, she is the main character in Graffiti Bridge.
She is. That's where you know her from.
If you've ever seen Graffiti Bridge and you know the love come quick, love come in a hurry. You saw that Ingrid Chavez is the love interest in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but again, she knows what she's doing, and I think that's what pissed off a lot of people, a lot of Madonna's biggest critics, is that because they know that she's so calculated and she knows how to play the game, but it's like, why are y'all mad? Because I figured out how to work this. Y'all are really mad about it, whereas a lot of people, like you said, to her credit, she came in fairly new to the game, young girl. You have all these other established artists that she is surpassing, but here she is just kind of breaking all kinds of records, and the people don't understand that. And again, that's something that you can't manufacture. That's downloaded into you from the source. That's just something that you get from outside, and nobody else has been able to replicate that. But I think Jerry, we got to get to the black stuff. We got to get to Madonna and her black bag.
Can we? I'm a bridge us to the black stuff. Can I bridge us to the black stuff real quick? Because this is interesting. So we just talked about Justify My Love, which sends us kind of down a new path, right? In kind of the Madonna universe, right? So right after Justify My Love happens, the next album is about to be Erotica is about to come.
Yes.
And Erotica is paired. This was next level. I've still never seen it. This was paired with the infamous Madonna sex book, which of course featured Naomi Campbell was in that book. Big Daddy Kane was in that book. And that was a huge controversial issue in Kane's career. Like he still has never fully recovered from that.
But you know, real quick, you know, he showed more. He was in Playgirl.
He was
also.
in Playgirl too. He was in
And
it. He was having a whole.
He showed a whole lot more in Playgirl than he did in the don't ask me how I know that, and how he did in the sex book. But yeah, but that sex book was like, first of all, there were limited supplies in the stores. There were people lined up around the corner. Of course, it's this big ornate chrome.
It's like
color.
it's like metal, and it's like, and it's just sex. Madonna, you know, everybody's naked and they're doing all of these things, right? And so I remember very vividly, Sir Daniel, on some random psychologist on MTV, because they were plotting, because it got a huge backlash. So Erotica didn't hit the way the other stuff had hit, right? So now people are plotting Madonna's demise. What do people do when you are having a demise? We'll get to that in about 2.5 seconds. So they're plotting Madonna's demise because you know, she's unhappy and there's a sex book and it's just, I don't know what's going to happen.
Marriages.
It's failed and da-da-da-da-do, right? And let me tell y'all something. Erotica holds up to this day. But Erotica is a great album. Go play it if you haven't played it. It's hot. That said, what do you do?
She had a gold tooth.
She had the gold tooth. She had a gold tooth. Her name was Dita, who was like, her name was Dita, child. And she was going to take you through things. Her name was Dita. So, like we said, Sir Daniel, what do you do when you need a rebirth? You go to the black people. You go to the blacks.
You head on down to the black side of things.
And Mr. Al Pete just hit the Instagram right on time, because now Madonna has arrived at the blacks. She
is hanging out with the black folks, and I need to hit you all. What's going down?
Call a baby face.
Your uncle has brought Sharon around again, because Sharon is having some hard times. So now she's back with your uncle and she needs something to eat. So your uncle's going to bring him to your mama house, because your mama can throw down and cook, because she needs some soul food. So this is what Madonna is doing. And so Madonna has headed down to Atlanta to hang out with Babyface, to hang out with Dallas Austin. She's working with Soul to Soul themselves, Dave Hall and Nelly Hooper on the Bedtime Stories album. Now, not for nothing, immaculate album.
Ooh, that album goes so hard. And
beautiful,
this is beautiful record. She's about to do, I think, is this the Evita? I think the Evita is happening. So Madonna's singing
in
now.
The mix. Yes,
it's in the mix. Bedtime Stories,
because she's still, not only she's like, I've conquered music, but I want to be considered a real actress. And so Evita is on the table. And if you know anything about Evita is a major Broadway play. And Patti LuPone, Evita is known as her role, and Patti LuPone is a Broadway beast. And so here comes Madonna, who wants this movie moment of Evita, but at the same time, I'm hanging out with my homeboys down in Atlanta, trying to make this Bedtime Stories album. And your girl, she's got your girl who she later signs to her label, but she's got your girl J. Ray, Michelle Ndegeocello, plucking on that bass on that album.
Boom, 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 ba-doo, ba-doo. All over the record. So Bedtime Stories is, I think, encapsulates Madonna's black era really, really, her connection to blackness really well. So you have the balance of the pop stuff and then you get her kind of dipping into the black pool. Okay. And of course, one of my dad's favorite songs. My dad loved Madonna, by the way, but one of his favorite songs is on this record is Secret. So now you get Secret. She goes to like Harlem. So Madonna's like doing a video in like Harlem, and she's got
walking around uptown with with the coat with the faux fur around with the heavy eye makeup, and she's got the little blonde pin curls. So she's blending. She's giving the it's giving passing in Harlem in the early 20s. What's that movie with the black women that are passing?
I think isn't it called Passing? No. Or are you talking about are you talking about it's gonna come to me in a minute.
It's gonna come. If
it's
you know
gonna come.
Chat, you know what we're talking about. Where these black women are experiencing living life in Harlem, where they're very, 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 very fair skinned, but they're black. But their passing is white, but they're living in Harlem, and it's a whole double life. But anyway, that's what Madonna's
doing a reverse version of that. She's
exactly. But so off of this album, we also get Human Nature, which is Dallas Austin's joint, which is a banger. Again, your uncle, not only does your uncle take Sharon to your mama's house for soul food, but he takes Sharon to the Caribbean with him on their trip to Jamaica. And she got on the beach
like
and she got cornrows while she's at the beach. So Madonna's doing the cornrow thing in the video, which is fine. And the song is dope. But J-Ray, my question is, I've thought about this, and the more I listen to Human Nature now, I'm hearing T-Boz, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, did T-Boz sing on this? Was she on the demo, or because she's Madonna and Nikki and the other Donna, the other backup singer, the only ones credited on that? But that singing style is very T-Boz.
T-Boz got to be on that joint. Has anybody ever asked T-Boz that? Like, is that you on a?
I want to know. Did you sing the demo? Because that, and I'm not sorry. It's human nature. If you tell me you can't see T-Boz doing the slow bankhead bounce singing, and I'm not sorry, it's human nature. And it's very, because she lived in the studio with Dallas Austin at that time.
Yeah. Like, so I will say, Bedtime Stories, banger. Human Nature, one of my favorite songs from that record. I will say my second favorite song is actually Madonna is like, she got to do a new thing. So she's like, I need to do a Bjork thing. So Nelly Hooper comes along and is like, so Bjork writes Bedtime Stories. And so that's my other favorite song from that record is Madonna singing Bjork lyrics. Today is my last day that I'm using words. They've gone out, lost their meaning, don't function anymore. Classic Bjork, great song. Yep. Love every moment of it.
But we gotta talk about Take a Bow. Take a Bow has to be like one of Madonna's most gorgeous records. That album, I was so surprised that record did not get any awards. Like, I could have sworn she got a Grammy or something, but no, that album did not garner any awards. But Bedtime Stories has to be, not Bedtime Stories, but Take a Bow, penned by Babyface, is probably one of the most beautiful songs in Madonna's repertoire to this date.
Agreed.
And it's just one of those songs that when he sang it on his in the early days of the Verses, during the pandemic,
when he was in the studio,
when he was in the studio and Teddy
playing
Riley
like an iPad
in his bedroom, a lot of people gagged. They were like, "Oh, you wrote that?" Yes. Babyface wrote that.
It's a signature Babyface song. It has all the Babyface
markings of a Babyface song. Absolutely.
He's on the backgrounds and everything.
Exactly. And I think that had to, and she was so clever. She made the motif of the video of her being like Spain and with a Spanish bullfighter.
Evita, right.
Just saying, hey, directors, look at me. I look good as Evita. So again, not for sitting on her laurels and not going after what she wants. That's
Yes.
Madonna. She was also auditioning for Evita in the music video for Take a Bow. But J. Ray, her, to me, her other Black album was Hard Candy. Now granted, she went from R&B Madonna to Kabbalah, Space Cowboy, dance teacher Madonna,
Confessions, my favorite modern Madonna record.
Also, but then in the mid 2000s, she was like, hold up, I need me a little bit of this hip hop thing, because Madonna's knocking on 50, and guess where she pops up? 106 in Park, everybody.
Y'all, look at Terrence and
Roxy.
That
was like 2008.
This is 2008.
The Hard Candy album.
Yeah, and now I will say what's hilarious about this clip. So we have the clip playing for those of you that are listening. What's hilarious about this clip is I didn't know that many white folks was at 106 in Park tapings. I think they was there. They was like, Madonna's coming, right?
So we need
look at Madonna. Yes. Hold on, give Madonna's serving right. This gear. Madonna's in all black. She's very rich. She has these long gold chainy things, and there's a lot of them. Black, baby, these white boys is losing their ever-loving minds. It's a lot going on, but Madonna looks amazing. She looks very rich.
Well, I mean, she deserves to look like that, because at this point, she's been in the game for 20 plus years. So she looks rich. It's colored, it's coded, it's black coded Madonna, but it's still rich.
Right.
But to me, the funniest part, like you said, J. Ray, is that we watched 106 in Park, and we ain't never seen this many white kids in the audience at 106 in Park. And so we know that was done on purpose. Stephen Hill was probably like, look, I want Madonna, and people at MTV at Viacom were like, get some white kids in that audience. We want, we still want her to appeal to white kids. And so they were like, fine, let's just funnel all of those TRL kids over here down to the 106 in Park studios and put them in. But that was a moment. Hard Candy was a moment. I think Hard Candy reintroduced Madonna to a whole nother generation. And as always, she aligned herself with the creme de la creme of the people that was popping. She aligned herself with Timbaland, Pharrell, and of nerd fame, Danger in the Clutch, Justin Timberlake, and of course Kanye is on the album as well.
Yep.
I enjoyed Hard Candy.
Now Spanish Lesson is my bop. I love that joint.
That with very bad broken Spanish spoken,
right?
Very bad spoken English.
Oh yeah, it would never fly today. It would.
No. Yo te quiero means I love you. But I'm sorry. Okay, Madonna.
You were like, does it, Madonna? Does it though?
It does not.
Yeah, Madonna. She's a collector of cultures. Like Madonna definitely would slip in to a culture, try it on for a season, an album run, essentially. Yeah. And then by the end of that album run, she was slipping out into her whole other thing. Because then right after this, or was it right before? No, it was after Music, I think, where Madonna went political. That was like the American. She put on her soldier.
Drinking her soy latte.
Exactly.
I'm drinking a soy latte. I guess I'm about to let it, and I know I'm satisfied. Yes, she went through all of that. She became a Bond. A Bond woman by singing a theme song for Die Another Day.
Yep.
So she did all of that stuff in between, and then was like, you know what? Let me do my Thanos thing. Put on this glove and collect another Infinity Stone of Blackness and put out Hard Candy.
So, you know what? I think this brings up a question. Thank you, John, for saying this, because I am curious. Today, I think we would definitely label Madonna as like a culture vulture.
For sure.
And I'm wondering, I don't know. It's almost like performance art. Like it's some for
Yes.
Madonna. This was like, no, this is what I do, right? I'm doing a new thing. This is the look. This is the energy. This is what the videos have to give. It's like a whole thing. And Mark, I think, leads right into the next big topic. So Mark is over on YouTube and he said Gwen Stefani tried to take a page out of Madonna's book, but the Harajuku phase went right out the window when she met Blake Shelton.
That's it. You know, so I think what Madonna would do, Madonna, again, the audacity, that's her biggest superpower. She would sit up there and be like, well, I helped create hip hop, so I'm right at home with hip hop.
And we would say, girl.
That's the kind of chutzpah that Madonna had. She would sit up there in your face and be like, oh, but I was rolling with the B-boys and B-girls, so this is nothing.
I break
new.
out.
I was breakdancing before breakdancing was popular. And, you know, we would let that slide because she's just, I think because on the sheer fact that she's been around long enough.
Yes.
Your uncle has been bringing Sharon around to the house long enough that every now and then Sharon will drop the N-word and you kind of look at her like, what the hell? What did you say? And then you kind of let it slide because she's been around long enough, but you're like, well, wait a minute now. You're getting a little too familiar.
Sharon, now, just eat the potato salad now.
That's it. You're doing too much again, Sharon. But but Madonna, like you said, has been able to, she takes cultures and puts them on like outfits and just on and off. And which leads us to a lot of people don't take kindly to a lot of that stuff.
No.
And there has been, if you're going to be as popular as Madonna, you're going to have some beef.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have some celebrity beef or whatever in your journey. We already talked about Courtney, but J. Ray, at some point, I think Madonna, it could be asked if Madonna had an issue with Black women. Because she didn't have any issue, you know, hanging around with Black men
at all,
using Black men as her, you know, as boy toys or her muses at the time, dating them, you know, having babies, all that kind of stuff, right? She didn't have a problem with that. But when it came to Black women, it seemed like she would never be aligned with Black women in the industry. Nope. There's that rumor, well, not a rumor, Patti LaBelle said it. Patti LaBelle said that she pushed her out of the way, stepped on her toe, and never said sorry or anything. She's always said that she's found Madonna rude, and she was like, she's lucky she's talented, or I forgot what the exact quote was, but she, you know, she still made it, but she's always called her rude. But then there was always this issue between Madonna and Janet Jackson. There was always this comparison. And it was so strange when we were working on this, thinking about this show, Jerry, we talked about how much Madonna was like so in love with Michael.
Right.
And Michael, she escorted Michael to awards and blah, blah, blah. But when it came to his sister, we got bad blood.
Yeah, I really do think the issue that Madonna had was with other women in the same industry. I really do think it was just like, I don't feature none of them other girls who's in the industry. Unless they're my sons and they admit that they're my sons, right? So a Britney and a Christina is okay because they have admitted what I mean to them. It's very Nicki-esque in a lot of ways, I think.
Ooh.
And I think specifically talking about the Janet thing, what I found interesting, and there's still some breadcrumbs of this, is when Control came out, they were trying to put Control in the lineage of like a Madonna. And I actually don't see Control in that lineage. I squarely see it in like Black tradition, funk, that lineage.
Absolutely.
I just don't see it in a Madonna line. But people were trying to do that, right? Because I think it was, you know, Madonna was the biggest, you know, pop star at the time. And I think from the Madonna standpoint of it, it is, I don't see none of these other girls who's like in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And for better or for worse. But yeah, I always found the Janet comparison weird and like misplaced, and it never made sense to me. I just didn't see Control that way.
Because my favorite part of the Truth or Dare documentary is where she's in a clothing store and she's trying on this jacket that has a lot of epaulets and buttons that fold to the side. It looks very military, and some voice off on the side says, "Oh, that's very Rhythm Nation." and Madonna was just stone cold and just stops in her tracks and is like, and starts taking it off and is like, get rid of it. It was so pointed. Now, the other thing that what made people draw comparisons is when you talk about the music. First of all, Madonna and Janet, queen of remixes, right?
Mm-hmm.
We love a Janet or a Madonna 12-inch because it's gonna be chock full of remixes. One Shep Pettibone,
baby, that baby will recycle a beat, child.
A renowned producer, remixer, did a remix of Express Yourself, and which sounds very familiar to a Janet Jackson remix of Escapade.
Mm-hmm.
There's Escapade.
Was it Miss You Much? It might be both.
There's a Miss You Much. No, I think it might be Escapade, Miss You Much, and All Right. There's Shep Pettibone remixes of all of these songs, and I guarantee you, all my DJs out there know this. If you can play Express Yourself and transition right into Miss You Much or whatever Shep Pettibone remix of any artist, and it sounds exactly the same.
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh my God. Y'all, thank you. We are, come on. We still have a couple more things. We got,
there's just so much.
There's so much.
It's so like, okay,
we need a part 2. Quick, go ahead.
We probably should do a part 2. We might need to break this up into 2 parts. But so Madame Noir called out Madonna actually at one point back in 2022 because it was coming up on the anniversary of Sex, the book. And Madonna made an IG post about how she basically was saying that all these bitches is my sons. I basically cleared the path for all of you. I made sex and sexuality popping, so all you girls are basically copying off of me. But Madame Noir placed an article like, Madonna, you lost your damn mind. There have been plenty of Black women that came before you that laid the groundwork for you, including Ma Rainey,
Betty Davis, Millie Jackson, Tina Turner, all of these girls. Madonna's she's walking like that path that she walked. Baby, these women was out there at a time when that was not popular. So yeah, that was wild. And I was like, oh, you just like rich and talking now.
And talking. And so, but again, that's Sharon,
Sharon.
Your uncle likes her. You kind of still like her too. And she's been around long enough. He still won't marry her.
No.
But they got kids and all that other stuff. And she, she's going to show up to all the barbecues and whatnot. But like I said, tomorrow at the time of this recording, the next day is going to be Madonna's birthday, her 66th birthday.
Yeah.
And Madonna is not, she's not exempt from aging.
No.
She's not exempt from her face changing. And
that's all showing itself.
Yeah, that plastic surgery, some of those touch-ups were a little jarring. They were a little jarring, but what is she to do? She still feels as though she is has a lot to say as an artist. and feels like she can still appeal to multiple generations now, which she has been able to do to an extent, right? What do you think?
Yeah. No. I absolutely agree. Here's what I wish, and this is for all entertainers, is I wish that us as fans will allow them to age, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I wish that, but I also wish the entertainers themselves allowed themselves to age too. So there's two things that are coming up for me, which is interesting. Late last year, there was that video. It might have been this year because time is a weird concept now. Where Kid and Play were doing the Kid and Play kick step, and we talked about it on the
Yes.
show. Where I was like, I want them to not have to do that anymore. I want us to be okay without them having to do that anymore. It's okay. They don't have to. They did it already. I've seen it. Have dancers be on stage, and now they're going to do the Kid and Play kick step. Amen.
Yeah.
It's all right. And I want us to be okay with letting them be okay with not doing it. So what I'm liking, why do I say that? I like that Janet is showing us what that can look like on stage. I think that's really impressive. And my hope is that Madonna, after this season, after the celebration tour season is done, that she takes a step back, realizes that her legacy is so vast and so big. And girl, you could get up there, play a guitar, sing some songs acoustic, and the kids is still going to show up and go up. You can sing an acoustic holiday and we're going to be singing with you. It's okay. You don't got to do all of that foolishness. You know what I mean? So I think as an aging pop star, and no shade, I know that Madonna like a young man. I know she do. Get your thing, girl. Get it. But it's also okay for you. I want her to be okay with aging. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
So being able to just not be in the spotlight, which I think, I don't know, to be honest, she has scaled it back. And for her, she scaled it back. She scaled it back quite a bit. The last concert series was a success. Again, she's able to align herself with this time around, she aligned herself with a lot of the drag performers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that they were a main part of her show. Part of her actual show is Bob the Drag Queen, and who, of course, is Black and wildly popular, and knows how to, is a performer on his own, and brings people to the show. So she's still doing it on a different scale, but you can't deny that she still got it. There was a lot when she fell off the stage, and you kind of worry for her, like, ooh, you're in your 60s. Are you going to?
It don't heal the same.
It don't heal the same way after that. So we're still rooting for you.
We are.
We like what you do. We still get good feelings and smile when we think about how we met you, Madonna, and where you are now. You have a beautiful Benetton family. And you just continue to do your thing. And we love your contributions to the culture. We just, you did what you had to do. You one of them ones. You're definitely one of them ones, as the kids like to say. And I'm not mad at Madonna. I'm not mad at her at all.
No. If Madonna never hopped on stage again, girl, what more is there to do? Like, you, at this point, you are performing because you want to perform, and that's great. Do it as long as you want. Child, Diana, Patty, and Gladys that we talked about, still out here doing the things. You know what I'm saying?
80s, God bless
in their
them.
80s. God bless him. Let's get Madonna to her 80s. But we definitely wanted to spend this time talking about Madonna, kind of celebrating her. Her birthday is tomorrow. And this was super fun. I never get a chance to talk about Madonna this much.
We don't. And the Q points, this is the Q points way of celebrating Madonna. Sharon, you get
You all right,
you
Sharon.
get Sharon, you are right. You get the big piece of chicken because it's your birthday. But no, in all seriousness, I do want to highlight that Madonna has changed a lot of things in the industry, how things are done. Her legacy of genre nonconformity is a thing. If you're an artist and just you can't be held to one genre, you have the ability to do that because Madonna made it mainstream or wildly popular for you to do that. When we look at how artists are marketed and their marketing strategies, all of that, you can thank Madonna Louise Chacon for that. The tours, the way that they use social media now, all of that started or due in part to Truth or Dare, Blonde Ambition, those kinds of things. She really stamped her mark on the industry. And of course, we can't not talk about or mention her contributions to dance culture. The remixes, the bringing of an underground culture, ballroom culture to the forefront, which is still thriving and bigger than ever today in 2024. So, hats off to you, Madge. You really, really put your foot down and left your imprint on this industry for sure.
Absolutely. Happy birthday, Madonna.
Thank you so much for hanging with us this long because this has been quite an episode.
Yes.
Don't forget to check out our Pandora playlist. Tell them about it, J. Ray.
Yeah, so over on Pandora, y'all, search for Q Points and you can follow us there. So many of our listeners, and we thank y'all so much, listen to Q Points on Pandora. And one of the things that we're doing special over there is we will have curated playlists that will include some mini-sodes that y'all can listen to that are specific to Pandora. So go over there, sign up for us. And if you go to qpnt.net/Pandora, you can easily find us. We got a link there for you. So that's awesome. Definitely stay connected to Q Points. Thank you all so much. So many of y'all have been checking in on Instagram. Like we got, hi from London. Y'all are checking in on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Thank you all. That is so important. Spread the word about the show. Share with your friends, family, colleagues. If you love Q Points, chances are they will too. Visit our website at qpoints.com. You can sign up for our newsletter. You can read our blog. You can also shop our store, get some dope merch over there at store.qpoints.com. We appreciate y'all. We love you.
Absolutely. Listen, we want to come to London. J. Ray and I are going to get to London at some point. So thank you for staying up till almost 3 o'clock in the morning to check out the show. We appreciate you. But listen, like I always say in this life, we have a choice. You can either pick the needle up or you can let the record play. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
My name is J. Ray, y'all.
And this has been Q Points, dropping the needle on Black music history. And remember, you can dance for inspiration. All right, peace,
Come
y'all.
on.